Hello everybody, and a very warm welcome to this special episode, which will be categorized in vinyl in general. I had the urge to do this video because I wanted you to be aware of something before you go out and buy test pressings, because there are test pressings and there are test pressings. So a friend of mine who started collecting about a year ago is now getting into test pressings. He read about that on some Facebook board and he was pretty excited about it. So he found a record store who had test pressings. He went straight away, bought a test pressing, got out of the store and called me immediately to share his happiness with me. And by the way, it's absolutely okay telling a story or sharing a story with you, so I won't mention any names, so that's absolutely okay with him. So he called me out of the record store and said, I'm over the moon, I'm super excited, I now got the holy grail of my record collection. I got a test pressing of a certain band, garage rock. It's not my genre, I'm not familiar with that. And you know what? It's even a low number. I've got number 124 of 500. Let's make a cut up here. So if you're not so familiar with that topic, and if you're not so familiar with test pressing, this is the right video for you. So let's start with what are test pressings? Well, test pressings, you order them from the record plant before you go into mass production with your record. Why? Well, you might want to check, are the tracks in the correct order? Are the tracks on the correct side of the record? Are there the breaks, the marks and everything at the exact spot as you requested that? Is the catalog number etched on the inner side? Is this the inner side? Was the outer groove, inner groove of the record? Do you want some other etchings on that inner groove? Is that on the record? Is the speeding correct? Is the timing correct? All of these things you want to check. Maybe if you're the engineer, you want to hear, is the sound as I mixed it? Is the balance good? You take the record and put it on certain stereo systems to hear the sound, to compare that. Is that as you wanted it? The average amount of test pressings you get from the record plant, depending on how much you're willing to pay and how much you need, is between 5 to 10 copies. You never get just one copy, just one test pressing. Why? Well, you kind of hear a certain distortion noise or something on a track on a certain side. So therefore you might want to check test pressing 3, 5, 6 to hear, is that on the same spot? If not, that's a production thing. We all know about that there might have been something on the stamper or something. So this could be the thing. Is the distortion noise not on pressing 3, 5, 6 or whatever, then you know it's a production thing, no issue, perfect. That's what test pressings are for. So knowing this, it's absolutely hilarious and ridiculous to call records with an amount of 500 test pressings. That's absolutely insane. And I'm honestly a little angry about that. I have here an example. This is just an example. I have nothing against this group. I didn't know about this group, but doing research for this video, I found this as an example. So here you pay about $60 for a test pressing, which is actually a limited edition or a variation of the ordinary album. You can call it that way. For $60, you get a plain white sleeve with a plain label, but signatures for the band. If you pay about $40, you get a clear vinyl version. Oh no, you get the postcard. I forgot the postcard with the test pressing, sorry. But if you pay $20 less, you get the clear version, you get a poster, a download code for the CD. This version, which is here for $40, the CD is missing, but you have the download code for the CD if you want to. You have a printed cover, and you get also the signatures. If you don't want to have the signatures, you pay about $20. So that's not a test pressing. An amount of 500, of 200, of 100, of 50, of 30 is not a test pressing. It's a limited edition, but it's not a test pressing. So be aware of that fact. If you're going into a record shop and you see a test pressing and see, oh, it's numbered, then it's a limited edition. Could be worthy, could be great, whatever. If it makes you happy, go and buy it. But I want you to be aware it's not a test pressing in a common sense. Well, why collect test pressings? Well, if you want to have all variations of a certain album, a test pressing belongs to that. If you collect the Dark Side of the Moon, which has about 1,113 variations, this is a lifetime thing. Or if you collect all variations of Michael Jackson Thriller, wow, go ahead for that. Tell me if you're complete. I would love to see that. So this could be a reason. Another reason could be the sound quality. The test pressing is from a very early version of the stamper, so it's not as worn out as later pressings. Honestly, I have here two test pressings. I show them to you. I didn't hear a difference, but I didn't hear a difference because both of them are pretty much beat up. But anyway, I show them to you. So this could be a reason. By the way, a test pressing is never done on colored vinyl. It's always been done on black vinyl. If you have a test pressing for a picture disc, it's been always done on the blank picture disc. These variations, colored vinyl and pictures, will be done in a later process. This is just about the sound and the correctness of the tracks and everything. It's not about is the color right or anything on this. So I also want you to be aware of that. So I have here two versions of test pressings. I hope you guys can see that. I put it in a camera. So this is a test pressing for a DJ. This is called a Special DJ Advanced Test Pressing. It's by Delia Renee. I hope I spelled that correct. She only made one single. Absolutely outstanding. You're Gonna Want Me Back. I love that record. It's been remixed by Joey Negro in 2011, I think. Absolutely outstanding song. So what's different on these kind of test pressings is that you kind of get some advertisement for the singer, for the record label, and also the person who was involved in that project. And you also have here on side 2 special mixed instrumental version of DJ Extended Remixing. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. It's a plain white cover with this glued on, and that's it. What makes every test pressing unique, if you have these low numbered, is most of the time people are writing certain kind of information on the label, or they typewrite it, and So in this case we have someone who, I hope you can see that, I want you to see that, somebody who has written the tracks, the time of the tracks, the name of the tracks, the label, an ID number, and also if it's stereo, The funny thing about this is, this here it says is a 33 RPM version, and on the cover somebody wrote with a pen up here. Can you see that? I'm sorry, I put it in the sleeve, 45. So yeah, these are not always as accurate as it should be. I was kind of surprised when I played that on 33 RPM. Sounded weird, but I found out. So another test pressing I have. This one is a test pressing which is usually given out to the person who requested it. You get again a sheet. These things can vary. Sometimes they just write on the plain or white cover or anything. It's not written in any book that you have to type something out and put it on there. There are certain ways they did it back in the day. I don't know so much about today, but I think today it might be equal. So somebody typed here on the paper the date, which is March the 21st in 1979. They have the record company, they have the number, they have the side one and the track listings. I'm sorry guys, I hope you can see that. So this is the front. I think this one belonged to Ale Walmart, maybe. And honestly, I wanted to test if the sound quality is better than on the ordinary pressing. I couldn't, because this thing is absolutely beat up, torn up, worn out, everything. So you can play, but it's not very enjoyable. And yeah, well, that's the label, where someone has also written something on it. And the tragic thing about it is, if I put that record here, you might see where my thumb is, that there's a huge scratch over one of my favorite tracks, Backstreet, so it's hardly playable. Really, it's not very enjoyable. There are cracks and everything. It's pretty much beaten up. But they hardly turn up. They really hardly and rarely turn up. Which brings us to the next way. How do I get a test pressing? Well, you can get them sometimes on eBay, you can get them sometimes on Discogs, or you might know someone who has some in their record collection, you might know someone who worked for a record company, has them, or those kind of reasons. Depending on how rare the record is, depending on how famous the record is, pricing can be between 20 to a few $1,000. There's just no limitation on that, you know. It's anyway, it's crazy with vinyl pricing at the moment, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, that's the way to get test pressing. As I said, if you have, like, there were back in the day they made 5 test pressing, maybe 2 survived. So, and a few hundred people want them. So yeah, they're gonna fight over pricing on this. Oh yeah, and of course that's the backside of the Ron Matlock thing. So yeah. Anyway, like I said, I want you to know the difference between a test pressing and a test pressing limited edition or other variation of an album. That was very important for me to point out before you go out and buy big box and thinking like, wow, this is like, whew. And it's, yeah, it's a limited edition, of course, but it's not actually a test pressing. So yeah, that's it for today. I'm pretty much excited to Friday, when I have my chat with Kevin about the mysterious demo tapes of One Part of the Carpenters. I'm so super excited about it. I hope you guys gonna like it. It will be online by next week. It's gonna be awesome. So have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, listen to good music, and see you. Bye.